All right. Pianist and vocalist Tony DeSare joins the program to talk about his recent video series, The Song Diaries, and to play a few tunes for us as well. I'm Brian Zimmerman. This is the Jazziz Last Call. All right. And before we get into today's episode, as always, I just want to let you know about a new album from ECM Records. This one, you can't see it, but it's a great new title from guitarist John Schofield. It is called Swallow Tales. It is John's leader debut on the ECM label and is a tribute to his longtime friend and colleague, the pioneering electric bass player, Steve Swallow, who actually happens to be on this disc. Bill Stewart is the other member of the trio playing drums. Yeah, it's a great album of all Steve Swallow tunes, recorded old school, just in the studio, in a circle, one or two takes. And if you're into John Scofield stuff, you're definitely going to want to check this album out. Visit ecmrecords.com to learn more about it. Wanted to also let you know real quick about our latest print issue. That would be our summer 2020 issue. This one is all about the age of fusion. We have a great cover story on Chick Corea in there, as you can see. Now, the good news is, if you're not a subscriber, all of the content from this print issue is available as web articles on our website. You will need a digital subscription to read them, though. And fortunately for Jazz's Last Call viewers, we're offering a special subscription rate right now. For just 99 cents per month for 3 months, you'll receive unlimited digital access to the articles in the digital version of this issue and every other digital issue. Plus, we'll enroll you to receive one complimentary copy of our next print issue, which is coming out in September. It's the fall 2020 issue, and it is all about the art of the album. Listening to albums, collecting albums, producing albums, album cover art. Again, you sign up now, you get unlimited digital access, plus a complimentary print issue on your coffee table come fall. You like the subscription, you keep it forever, but you can cancel anytime. But try it risk-free. I know you're going to love it. All right, my guest today is vocalist, pianist, composer Tony DeSare, a fantastic interpreter of the Great American Songbook and just an all-around lover of song and songcraft. So I just had to talk to him. He recently released a star-studded collaboration video to raise funds for the Actors Fund in this time of need due to COVID-19. He's also got this amazing Song Diaries video series going on. He's here. It's last call. What do you say we go one more round with Tony DeSare? Tony, are you there?
I'm here, Brian.
Hey there. Good to see you. Thank you very much for being here at the last call. I see you've got your drink in hand. That is awesome.
I do.
Because you're well aware, as our longtime viewers, that the first thing we do on this show is a toast. We raise a glass to someone, someplace, some idea, something to honor here at Last Call. So, Tony, who, what, where, when, why are we celebrating with this glass?
Well, I think we should toast to a time in the near future when musicians and audiences can join back in the same room and enjoy music in the moment, especially jazz, because it takes place in the moment, live in front of people. That's the way you get the best jazz. So to a time coming very soon, hopefully, where we can get back to it.
Hear, hear. I hope so too, man, because I miss it.
Me too.
All right, that is the good stuff. We start the conversation on a bit of a somber note, especially for people like you and I who just love the Great American Songbook, because we lost two giants of this music over the weekend, one being the singer and piano player Freddie Cole, brother to Nat King Cole, and the other being the songwriter composer Johnny Mandel. And I'm curious, because you swim in the same oceans, if you've ever worked in a direct or non-direct regard with either one of these two musical giants.
Well, Freddie Cole and I first met, probably it was 2006 or 7 at Jazz at the Bistro, Jazz St. Louis. I was doing my second set of the night, and Freddie must have been playing in town, because he came in about halfway through my second set. And I saw him sitting there in the back. And after we were done with my set, Gene Dobbs Bradford introduced me to Freddie, and we sat and we spoke about music. And we both have similar loves of song and styles of music. I love that really intimate trio vibe that he would do. And we had that night, and we spoke a bit, and then I didn't see him again for, 2 or 3 years. And I happened to go to Birdland to see him, and Johnny Valenti, the owner of Birdland, called me over to introduce me to Freddie. And Freddie, Freddie said, "I know him. I saw him in St. Louis. It's Tony." So
Wow.
I was thrilled that he remembered me so quickly. And over the years, we would see each other at events either that kind of brought out the jazz industry, or if he was playing somewhere, and it was always nice to see him. And yeah, we've lost so many. I mean, Bucky Pizzarelli was a big mentor to me, and has a big role in my career. And I don't know if I'd be where I am today if not for Bucky, because Bucky helped me in the process that got me my record deal with Telarc Records. And he played on that demo just out of love of music, and for like $200, he did that whole album for me.
Wow.
He's like, just make it by my house. That was his only request.
As long as he didn't have to travel far.
Exactly.
He get it. Very cool. Yeah. I mean, Bucky, we've a major light to go out, in this music. Freddie Cole and Johnny Mandel, who, even if you haven't worked with him, you've played his music, I'm sure.
Oh, sure. I mean, one of my favorite songs is Shadow of Your Smile, which I recorded on my last album, actually. And, there's just so much of that generation. We're really kind of at the last of it. I mean, thankfully, we still have Tony Bennett. And I got a chance to work with Don Rickles in the last few years of his life. And
oh, wow.
Feeling that connection to that generation of artists and arrangers and songwriters and performers. I mean, he had an insight into just the way he looked at the business that I think was very indicative of that generation. And also they were just, such, you don't get to get that good anymore, artists, because they don't do 5 shows a night. There's not a 3 a.m. show.
The sheer workload.
Yeah. So when I think about somebody like Frank Sinatra, who just sang and recorded every day during his formative years, doing live radio, doing all these albums, doing all these band performances, and having to perform in the same room live with the band the whole time. I mean, that's how you get really good at it.
Totally. So, yeah. Well, let's talk about Mr. Frank Sinatra, man, because I know he holds a special place in your heart. I'm going to borrow a line from guitarist John Scofield. He said, "Like anybody with ears." I love Frank Sinatra. Yeah. But I'm wondering, from a singer's perspective, just because you've really studied Sinatra's work, what he does so well, what made him so different, and why, his singing has endured for so long.
Well, I think to start off with, I mean, Frank was the first rock star, right? I mean, he was, before Frank, the bands were the stars, and the singers were part of that, but Frank left the Tommy Dorsey band and became a star in his own right. And then I think there's so many facets to what make Sinatra great. And I think when it comes down to artistically, the first is just great taste, knowing a great song, and knowing that it's a song for him too. I think there's that combination where he just had a great sense of what songs were going to work for him, and then really overseeing what kind of arrangement it was going to be. I mean, in the 1950s, when he'd meet with Nelson Riddle, he would say, "Okay, I want 8 measures like Puccini, and then I want just strings and muted brass." I mean, he'd kind of give the whole outline of an arrangement. And then, as far as the way he sang, I think that the actual sound of his voice is, great and unique and memorable, but really what it is, because when I hear people that impersonate him sing, they often have the timbre, but they either are copying his phrasing or it's just not phrasing the same way, and it just right. Doesn't work. So really the key is just like any of the greats in jazz, Miles Davis or anything like that, it's the way that they play a line. It's right. where they choose to pause, where that singing a song isn't all about making the sound and holding out a long note. It's also about maybe just cutting a note short and letting the silence sink in. And Frank was a master at that. And when you hear the recordings from the 50s, especially the ballads of, Only the Lonely, Wee Small Hours, Where Are You? And those are all one-take performances. And the phrasing and the detail, because everything, you hear everything. You hear every detail of what he's singing because his voice is so loud over the orchestra, which is great. And you really get an appreciation for just how perfect where he puts everything is, where he puts the breath. Even if he scoops up to a note, it's all just a masterclass in phrasing a song.
In phrasing, and that's what you hear time and time again about Frank, is the phrasing, just like this, letting the silence, kind of speak for itself, and in a lot of ways elevate the noise, the sound. Right. So very cool, man. Tony, you are sitting in front of a piano bench. I don't know if people can tell at home, but I would love it. There it is. There it is. I think we would all love it if we could maybe hear a tune.
Yeah, sure.
Is that cool?
Absolutely. Let me put the mic in here. Then I'll take my headphones off.
Setting the mood. On old Frank Sinatra way there.
So this is maybe I'll do a song that was written by Cy Coleman and Dorothy Fields for a musical called Sweet Charity. It's called Baby Dream Your Dream. Baby, dream your dream. Close your eyes and try it. Dream of furniture. Dream that I can buy it. That fancy dress you prayed for, not only bought but paid for. Dream we sign the lease. Leave a small deposit. 3 1/2 rooms with a walk-in closet. We'll ask the local jet set to dine on our dinette set. Right across the street there's a friendly bank. You make a friendly loan and the bank says thank you. Every Saturday we'll spend all our money and join the PTA. They will love you, honey. Life will be frozen peaches and cream. Baby, dream your dream. The local jet set to dine on our dinette set. Right across the street there is a friendly bank. You make a friendly loan and the bank says thank you. Every Saturday we'll spend all our money, join the PTA. They're really gonna love you, honey. Life will be frozen peaches and cream. Baby, dream your dream. Dream your dream.
All right. Excellent, man. Excellent. A beautiful tune and a timely one.
I had to find my headphones.
I'm just explaining what a lovely tune that was, man, and how great that sounded, and how timely it was because I'm actually in the market for a house. Thinking
Oh, are
about,
you? Okay. That's exciting.
yeah, thinking about
Yeah.
it, and about to spend all my money and join the PTA. So I can certainly relate. Hey, man, that was great. Your piano playing was great too. I love, that stride sound, and I'm always curious about, musicians who sing and play as well as you do. Do you think that, your ability to sing and your focus on singing influences the way you improvise at all or approach improvisation?
Yeah. Well, it really has. I mean, I learned how to play piano first,
Okay.
and then I started to sing. And I found that, I mean, there's certain things. For example, my last album, my friend Ted Firth, who's an amazing jazz pianist, you probably know of him from
Yeah.
his work with a lot of different people. But we
And
grew
this
up
album,
together.
this is Lush Life.
Lush Life.
Yes. Okay.
So Ted and I grew up together, and I wanted to play piano because I saw Ted playing piano when we were like in third grade.
Okay.
But for example, on an album like Lush Life, I know that Ted's knowledge, deep knowledge of harmony, that kind of rubato playing, and my ability to focus on songs like Lush Life or Shadow of Your Smile would serve the overall song better to have a separate piano player. But there's certain things, like in a song like that, where I really appreciate the ability to phrase, knowing what my me being the accompanist is going to play. So there's a lot of, when I play with my trio especially, I can have a lot more interesting kind of phrasing, knowing that I can make it work by what I'm playing on piano too. Like, so I'm not
Right.
gonna step on my own
Oh,
phrase.
yeah.
You know what I
Huh.
mean? So there's that kind of
Yeah.
instant speaking. Yeah, as I'm playing. So there's that, and yeah, it influences because it becomes one force. As I'm performing
Right.
either by myself or with a trio, it becomes one statement that's coming out of my. I'm phrasing however it is. If it's something like "Baby, dream your dream," So that to me is trombones, right? So,
Ah.
but if I was going to be like, "Baby, dream your dream," I could change the phrase a little bit.
Yeah. And so you think it kind of in orchestral terms
Yeah,
of here would be a trombone lick behind me, or here's where the reeds kind of do their little
and that's
mellower thing here. That's cool, man.
and that I think is something that how my playing has evolved because I'm a jazz player in the sense that the music that I love most uses the vocabulary of
Mhm.
jazz. So, my I arrange now. I arrange big band and I arrange my own orchestra music because I perform mostly. When I did perform with orchestra pops. So I find now more than ever when I play, I'm thinking in terms of an arrangement and thinking texturally, like uh, how brass or woodwinds would play, and so it's kind of a different approach to the way I play for myself. And when I do my daily videos,
Yeah.
I kind of have the different modes between percussive playing, almost like a clavinet, that I kind of do when I kind of show you. So if I was gonna do like, there's the stride, right? So like,
There it is.
baby, dream your dream. But then I could shift into the mode of like, baby, dream, baby, dream your dream.
There's the
I
clavinet.
kind of do some of that. That,
Yeah.
that, that was exaggerated, but yeah. So I've kind of really, I've always was fascinated with people that played and sang, and I
Yeah.
think it is a definite like, people have often asked me like if I had to do one or the other, if I had to let one go, which one would it be? And it's really tough because I really consider myself somebody who does both at the same time. So,
Yeah. No,
you
I
know,
get it. I get it. Very cool. The real one man band philosophy.
yeah.
Very cool. Yeah. You mentioned the song series, and I'd love to talk about that. You're in the midst of a series, I guess, called the Song Diaries.
Yeah, so what happened was I was about to, I had started a 3-week tour back in March of the Midwest, one-nighters. We were going to do like 18 one-nighters in 21 days.
Okay.
And we did the first night in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, I think it was the Paramount Theater, and, really nice theater. And then that was it. The tour was over. Everybody was going home. Everybody was starting the lockdown. And So I found myself at home, and the next day after I got home, I just kind of sat around, and like didn't know. I kind of felt directionless, didn't know what to do. And the next morning, I got up and I decided I want to record something and just put it out, and maybe I'll feel better. And the process of actually sitting down, making a recording, and then doing a quick mix, and then putting it out, and then watching as the comments came in all day was just so therapeutic to me that I did it the next day.
Oh,
And
nice.
then I did it for 3 or 4 days, and then I decided, I'm just going to do this every morning, and it just gives my day such momentum, positive momentum, and it's become kind of like a daily meditation for me, because the first thing I do is I get out of bed, I get ready as if I'm going somewhere, you know,
Yeah,
and
that's a good feeling these
yeah,
days.
yeah. I mean, I put on my black button down,
Yeah.
and I come down, I pick a song if I haven't picked one already. I rehearse it a few times. I turn on all my lights. I turn on my studio, and I say a little intro, and I do anywhere between 1 and 4 or 5 takes till I get one that I like, and I put it out. And today was video 106. So
Wow. Yeah, you've been in it for the long haul, man. And
yeah.
people, if they want to watch, they can follow along on your YouTube channel, right?
Yeah, YouTube, but I post them on my Facebook channel,
Okay.
Instagram, and YouTube. Most of my audience is on YouTube at this point.
Okay.
I mean, no, I'm sorry, Facebook, not YouTube.
Ditto for us. Yeah. So I encourage people, go check them out. Daily little kind of song to start your morning.
Yeah.
And Tony, speaking of videos, though, you also very recently put out this star-studded kind of collaboration video as a dedication to the Actors Fund. There it is. Jeff has gone and pulled it up. We can't listen to it for copyright reasons, but
Right.
it's a great video, and I encourage again people watching, go check this video out. You're singing the tune "Pick Yourself Up," right?
Right.
And how did, because this must have been a major feat of logistics to get all these players together playing the same tune and then edit this thing together. So where did this idea come from, and how did it come together?
Well, one of the things in that first few weeks that I was home, I felt like, I was talking to my friends. Everyone was so concerned, and some immediately kind of dire circumstances financially. And I started to just, think, what, given my skill set that I've, that I've been working on for 20 years, what could I possibly do that could make any difference at all? And I thought, well, I know how to produce this stuff. I know how to mix. I know how to edit video. You know, I wanted to try to do something that could raise money for the Actors Fund, and at the same time entertain, and at the same time bring awareness to the fact that there's this whole section of the music industry that aren't household names, that are working professionals, that are masters of what they do, and we're all at home, we're all grounded. And the idea was to kind of, at first too, just kind of creatively collaborate on something, and looking at what the silver lining of the situation is. We have all these great musicians with nothing to do at the moment, so why not collaborate? So that was the initial kind of idea. So I called Ted Firth, and Ted Firth and I arranged the song. And then I had the idea to put in the middle different creations from content creators. So I'm friends with the piano guys who are coming up right now.
Yeah.
Postmodern Jukebox, who are major YouTube bands that have millions of subscribers. And they were into it. They liked the idea. So it was kind of slowly, and this is Andrew Brady, who's the principal bassoonist for the Atlanta Symphony.
Wow. Doing some recorder.
Yeah, some record. So I just wanted it to, I wanted to be uplifting and fun and raise some money. So it was a lot of work, but it was a labor of love, to make sure all this stuff. I really wanted it to sound like we recorded it all in recording studios, and and it really put my accumulated audio engineering skills to the test. But I'm really proud of it, and I'm glad that it's out, and I'm glad that people are seeing it and giving money to the Actors Fund, because there's certainly people who need it.
Totally. For a great cause. It sounds beautiful. I mean, Ann Hempstead Calloway, Bria Skonberg, a lot of big names in here, man. Steve Tyrell. And yeah, Pick Yourself Up is a tune by who wrote that one?
Jerome Kern and Dorothy
Jerome
Fields.
Kern. Oh,
Yep.
there you go. Yeah. So yeah, like I say, everyone go check this video out and donate if you can, because like I say, the musicians who produce the music that we love, it's tough times for them right now. And they continue to do things like this, to help us through it. So the least we can do is give back. Very cool. Thanks for the video, Jeff. So Tony, I want to talk about, in prepping for this interview, I was kind of doing a deep dive through your discography as well. And yeah, and I love some of the early, your kind of first breakout hit, which was Last First Kiss. Some beautiful originals there, obviously beautiful covers of the Great American Songbook. And then two of the tunes I love, you got Kiss by Prince.
Oh, yeah.
One of my favorite tunes. And then, and don't take this the wrong way, Tony, but one of my mom's favorite tunes.
Oh, no, it's all right. I hear that all the time.
I Feel the Earth Move by Carole King.
Yeah.
But both done in a kind of, Great American Songbook jazz standard style. So I'm curious how those tunes come to you and, what you hear in them that makes them go, ooh, this will kind of work in a vintage style.
Well, what was interesting at that time, okay, so I had gotten my deal with Telarc in 2005. I put out my first record, which Telarc didn't actually produce. I produced that on my own, and they licensed it. So Last First Kiss was my first real label-sponsored jazz recording, and it was also terrifying because Telarc recorded direct-to-2 track. So it's for great audio, but it's like working without a net.
Unforgiving.
Unforgiving. If you there's no punching in to fix a piano chord or
right.
Anything like that. So, but I found it to be, once I got the initial jitters out, we did this the recording at Avatar in New York City and had a beautiful piano. I mean, it was really being spoiled. But as far as the songs, picking those songs, back in 2006 when I was picking these out, it wasn't necessarily super common yet to take a Prince song and make it like a jazz standard cover. I mean,
right.
Since Postmodern Jukebox and YouTube covers, it's become kind of a standard thing to see a song redone in a different style.
Right.
So actually, everyone thought it was a terrible idea for me to do Kiss. In fact, the label didn't even want me to spend the studio time to record it. So
wow.
What happened was we got everything else done, and then we did Prince's Kiss, and then once it was down on, I'll say tape, but on hard drive, everybody started to really like it, and then it ended up being the first track, and it did get some notice from the press as kind of the standout track. And that all came about because I just moved into New York City, sometime mid-2006, and there was a bar across the street from me where they had a cover band every weekend, and I was just kind of branching out, and I was also kind of looking for songs, but I went in there and they were playing a cover of Kiss. So, and I was just kind of, listening to it, and they were doing it pretty true to Prince's version, but it kind of dawned on me that this is just a blues. This is just a blues with a pop chorus. And I was like, oh, isn't that kind of interesting? If it's just a blues, why couldn't I do it as a jazzy blues number? And then I left. I left right after that. I went across the street and I started working on it. And, so basically it was like, all right, finding other hooks. So it's like, so you picture the jazz approach, what's it going to be, but you still want it to have this kind of pop element to it. So I came up with this bass line that'd be like, so that'd be the bass, and then guitar over that would do that. So you don't have to be beautiful to turn me on. I just need your body, baby, from dusk till dawn. And it's a blues, so it goes to the 4. You don't have to have experience to turn me out. Back to the 1. Just leave it all up to me. I'm gonna show you what it's all about. You don't have to be rich to be my girl. You don't have to be cool to rule my world. Ain't no particular sign I'm more compatible with. I just want your extra time and your kiss. So yeah, that's how that happened.
Yeah, beautiful, dude. No, I love it. And you know, it was just like so ear opening when I heard it. I was like, wow, this is the coolest thing ever. Yeah, man. And then another project that I love of yours was the radio show one.
Oh, really? I'm so glad. I'm so glad you like that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, because I just love this idea of a real programmatic, you know, kind of album. Like you were thinking of the whole thing. Like I want to make this a real experience that someone could throw this, I guess, CD or you know, back then into the CD player and sit back and just listen to a whole program of songs, because that's essentially what you're recreating is like those old school jazz radio shows. Were those part of like your childhood growing up, or do you have an affinity for those? Or
see, what happened with that was, you know, I was trying to think of something that would be just kind of taking more of a risk and kind of something that would be, you know, like a concept album. Why not try that? And I really loved the feeling of the old World War II Frank Sinatra radio broadcasts, and they'd have the, you know, they'd have the in-studio orchestra, and they'd have like the big like, you know, like this whole thing, and it's like, and it's the Frank Sinatra show, you know. I just love it. And then he'd be like, you know, I'll never smile again. So, and it just organically went from song to song, and I was like, wouldn't it be cool to do a modern day version of that?
Yes.
So because, you know, at first I was like, well, I could, you know, it wasn't interesting to me to just recreate a World War II radio broadcast, because then it's like, well, that's been done and way better by what we have. But I was like, wouldn't it be interesting to make a tribute to pop radio? Is really what the idea being that it's kind of like mixed up time wise. So if you know, doing jazz numbers a little more in another generation, like I did Lazy River, that was like a little more kind of like funky, almost kind of like a rock shuffle. And then I did Easy Lover by Phil Collins. It's kind of like a Duke Ellington big band swing. So the idea being it goes through different styles of radio genres. Like I had my friend Joe Piscopo give me some different kind of DJ voices. And the idea being it switches channels, but also switches times. And so I really had a lot of fun making it. I mean, I released it just at a time when there was, you know, a lot of things with my label was being bought, and I don't know, just I felt like it just kind of fell through the cracks. And it's interesting over the years to have people, you know, because it came out now, I don't know,
11 years ago.
Yeah, 11 years ago. But there are people out there that have told me they've worn out the CD.
Totally, man. I hope it develops a cult following at this point.
Yeah, you know,
it's really cool.
I would love it to be one of those things that were like, you know, it totally didn't do anything when it came out, and then 20 years from now, it's like there's like a little cult obsessed with radio show.
Well, I had the same soft spot for those Frank Sinatra radio shows, or like the Timex TV shows that they used to do with Frank, and just like this little 1 hour program of jazz, you know, very eloquent. And yeah, it's a great project. So people out there, go stream it, but more importantly, go buy it. Now's the time to go buy the album. Help these artists out. Hey, Tony, this has been an absolute pleasure talking to you. I was wondering if we could maybe end with, you know, one other tune, maybe something by the great Johnny Mandel, in honor of him. Would that be all right with you?
Yeah. Let me see if I like to do the Shadow of Your Smile, which I know the words very well, but I didn't play it most recently, but I think I might have it here. Yeah, sure I can do it.
All right.
So
lead sheet to the rescue.
Lead sheet. So the one thing I noticed right away is it's not in my key, but my piano bar skills. So
it's a real professional at work here, folks.
So I used to play at a piano bar where like these Italian guys with gold chains and sweatpants would come in with a wad of $100 bills and be like, you know, play the Summer Wind. And even if I didn't play it at that time, I quickly figured out a way to do it. So,
oh man, so much respect for those piano bar guys that can just play anything at the drop of a hat.
So back then, when I was doing that 5 nights a week, I just developed the skill to look at something that I maybe am only kind of moderately familiar with, and when I see a C sharp, sing a B or play a B. So that's what I'm going to do here. All right. The shadow of your smile when you are gone will color all my dreams and light the dawn. Look into my eyes, my love, and see all the lovely things you are to me. Our wistful little star was far too high. A teardrop kissed your lips, and so did I. Now when I remember spring and all the joy that love can bring, I will be remembering the shadow of your smile. Our wistful little star was far too high. A teardrop kissed your lips, and so did I. Now when I remember spring and all the joy that love can bring, I will be remembering the shadow of your smile.
Absolutely beautiful. Just beautiful, man. Thank you,
Thanks,
Tony,
Brian.
for Mr. Johnny Mandel. Hey, if that wasn't your key, I don't know what is, man, because that sounded beautiful.
No, it wasn't. It was a key. It just wasn't. I just had to do the math while I was playing it. So.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for being on the show. Like I say, people want to check out the Song Diaries, visit Tony DeSare on Facebook. Check out that video too. Pick yourself up on YouTube. And if people just wanted to follow along, Tony, what's the best place for them to do that?
Yeah, well, I would say visit my website, sign up for my email newsletter, and Facebook, follow my Facebook band page, and all my posts are there. So I'm not hard to find.
Very cool, man. Well, it sounded great today. And again, thank you so much for chatting with me. I'm going to say goodbye to you right now. I'll see you backstage, and I'm just going to sign off with the folks watching at home. But thank you sincerely, Tony, for being here with us for the last call. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right. So yes, thank you to Tony for coming on the show, playing for us, talking with us about his new projects. If you'd like to check out that video series, follow him on Facebook. Go to his website, sign up for his newsletter. He's a fantastic singer, just a great custodian of the Great American Songbook. Hey, while I have you here, I just wanted to remind you that starting next week, we will be going live at 8:30. All shows will be live starting at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. So you can chime in, call in, write in. We'll get get your questions on air, but this is the sound of jazz anyway, and we just wanted to keep this live, keep it improvisational, and that's what we're going to be doing starting next week. Anyway, this has been the Jazziz Last Call. Look, I enjoyed today's conversation so much that I finished my drink. I'm going to shut down the bar here. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'm Brian Zimmerman. See you next time. Bye.